Let's just get started with context. The Deltarune ARG was a thing in the Spamton sweepstakes and other Deltarune ARG itself. Yes, Deltarune was doing ARGs within ARGs, but anyhow, one page was deltarune.com/chapter4/thank you. The header of that website asked the question, how long did it take her to smile? People would add in their emails and their answer. Afterwards, they got responses, some of which telling them to move forward with their answer. Eventually, the website updated again, asking the question, where will it take place? I believe only people who were able to move forward with their answer were actually able to move on to the next step of giving their email and submitting another answer. I don't know why I said another like that. Anyway, the website updated again showing this, interim results, saying of the 1,571 people who were allowed to respond again, 1,229 answered, and the ARG would update when there was less than 24 hours before Chapter 5 release. The less than 24 hours is now, and we're being flooded with a bunch of responses. This video will be compiling and trying to analyze a lot of them. Shout out to GoldPro, his videos on this topic are ridiculous, and his community's research on this ARG is rigorous. Please watch his videos. Anyway, so where will it take place? Well, we actually have a specific concrete answer with this one, the lake. The response says, ding ding ding, this is it. You only need to see her once, and you'll move on. It's worth noting that some slightly different answers have the same responses, like just answering lake or even shore. This makes it so I literally can't show every answer. I mean, there's over 1,000 of them, and a lot of them have the same responses. I'll try my best, but honestly, just go to GoldPro's Answering the Question Discord server if you're interested in seeing a lot of them. Here's something ridiculously revealing. Answering anything related to the Dark World gave the response, I have some bad news for you. No, you'll figure it out yourself. The answers Flower Shop, Castletown, the Field of Pink and Gold, In the Darkness, the Dark, Flower King. Basically, it's hammering in the fact that any Dark World / Darkness related answers will elicit this response. Let's get this out of the way real quick. There are some answers that this question just did not relate to, and the responses made sure you knew that. Most numeral / time-based answers yielded the response, it's where, not when. Try to keep up. There were also so many responses that were just like, this is not correlated to the question, or you're not on the right track. Some responses like, try and answer, you didn't learn anything from last time. There were also some that just requested you to be more specific and gave the response, you know, you have to be more specific than that. Or, couldn't you choose someplace a little more local? Now, I haven't been specific with covering these, but I will be specific with these answers that gave the response, not at all, because that has like an extra layer of importance. Like whoever is answering this is directly telling us that this place is important, but not where the event will take place. Answers like Ice Palace, at Northern Light, in the pipes, to the left of a red X, in her coffin, the roaring, and of course, Shogun's Mountain. Okay, let's get back to lore heavy stuff, like responses regarding the festival. Answering something related to the festival will give the response, that's what you want, isn't it? Candy apples, square dancing, that's what all of this was for. Well, it was always going to be this way. The only people that walk this path are those who have their face so close to the road, they can't even see where they're going. But, well, if we're lucky, maybe there's a chance you'll still get lost along the way. I think responses like this definitely show that this whole ARG is very, very Weirdroot related, and especially related to Noelle. And if you don't believe me, look at this response when saying Ferris wheel. You want to see them together so badly. You want to see those red eyes dance. Even so, it's wrong. Everything about it is wrong. But what good is it for me to say? The heart does what it does. So, don't worry. You'll make it. You always do. Don't you? This one freaked me out especially because it's so Weirdroot Crystal related. Like the whole toxic dynamic of the ship has never been as explicitly narrated to us like this. It's not even subtext at this point. It's so disturbing and just, I don't know how to explain it. You guys ever see the movie Obsession? I'm making a video analyzing YouTuber movies after the whole Deltarune Chapter 5 thing, like it's a little thing. Anyways, I'm making a video on that soon, but like how I felt while watching Obsession is how I felt while reading that. Like, it's horrifying. Anyway, if the Weirdroot goes to this level of writing in this chapter, I'm really afraid of what we're gonna see next. Let's talk about the forest, something clearly important in the game and related to the tree Eggman. Most forest-related answers resulted in the response, there are trees, sure, but that could be anywhere. It's also worth noting giving the specific answer nowhere and getting the response, that's not what the question is about. So I feel like what these responses tell us is that the forest and tree Eggman are important, but it's not related to the event the question is talking about. It's more so related to the Weirdroot and Noelle, while the forest stuff is related to Chris. Still, both the forest and this ARG are related to both of their past. Now there are these two responses to me that are really puzzling. The response is that really what you're hoping? And wouldn't you want it to be someplace different? Maybe they're more so throwaways, especially the latter, but like, the first response you get by answering like mysterious places like the shelter and the depths, and the second response you get by answering smallish spaces like her room and her house. I'm really curious what this could mean. Like, I feel like it's directly addressing the player and their dynamics, and whatever event it could be, it's gonna be grandiose, and the person giving us these responses knows that we know that, and knows that we're expecting something big. It's just a matter of where. Well, we already know where, it's the lake. Anyhow, let's look at some very weirdly phrased ones that are very specifically about Noelle. When answering hospital, you get the response, I get it. She feels a little under the weather, and the whole thing is called off. Maybe not. This one just directly mentions Noelle, and I think you're gonna start seeing the pattern here. When answering Icy's pizza, you get the response, Noelle cooks some dough, and they're sitting together, chewing silently, without a word passing between them. Maybe not. But at least you came up with something interesting. And if you answered in the church, you get, I get it. The two of them looked at the altar and realized that it was shattered. Noelle feels hopeless, and then realizes, maybe not. But at least you came up with something interesting. So these ones boggle my mind because I think it just outright confirms this question and this ARG is about Noelle and the Weird Root and how Chris is involved in that. Toby Fox is saying something will happen and Chris will be around for that, and we will witness that event by the lake. I think how these specific responses are phrased though is so interesting. It's like the responses are saying that this huge, potentially tragic event could be avoided by like being in the church or the hospital or Icy's pizza, and it even lays out possible situations, but like, they're so unlikely. We're already on track for things to go to ruin. Speaking of things already ruined, take a look at what you get when you answer Susie. Too late. Now, a lot of people are freaking out about this one, like Susie is gonna die next chapter, but I really think that it's just about Susie and Noelle's relationship. It's too late to fully form with how far we are in the Weird Root. We've gone to the point of no return, and I think this is phrased so sadly, just two words emphasizing how badly we messed up this relationship. Anyway, let's take a break from that before we look at the last big ones that could foreshadow chapter 5 or even the events of future chapters, and look at some funny responses. Answering very sentimental stuff like Happy Town yes from the sound test, or stuff related to friends grants the response, aww. Answering very romantic and intimate stuff gives the response, gross. Someone got a response to this answer and the response was just, what? If you answer yes, it responds with, no. I like whatever this thing is not acknowledging roots and just saying, roots? What, you think she's going to eat carrots or something? And I love that there's specific responses that point out when you misspelled something. It's really brilliant. Anyhow, I may have missed some, and some other responses may be discovered while I make this video, but I think those are the major ones with heavy implications besides these last ones. Answering in the graveyard, you get, I get it. If you hit the grave, you might reveal a secret staircase. And then, gripping the edge of the coffin. Maybe not, but at least you came up with something interesting. Now this is different from the other maybe nots because obviously the secret staircase, whatever that could mean, and something hidden inside of the coffin, it doesn't specify which grave or which coffin, but this one is so noteworthy it could foreshadow a future plot point or area. When answering in the skeleton's room or even something related to the convenience store, you get the response, no way, have you seen that guy? So this creature knows and acknowledges Sans, and I love how in these chapters and Deltarune's story, Sans is kind of creeped up more and more in the foreground of the plot. I'm really excited to see what he does in chapter 5, especially knowing he'll be in the festival. And the last one I have here is when answering the place where it snowed, you get the response, you know that isn't until later. So not regarding the thing that will happen that this part of the ARG is about, something major will also happen in the place where it snowed. This whole ARG is wild, with how much plot details it foreshadows. I don't even think it just foreshadows chapter 5 stuff. I think it's talking a lot about Noelle, her childhood, and the dynamics of the Weird Root that fundamentally changed her. It's so weird and twisted to see, and the ARGs have personally been, for me, the scariest parts of these games. Comment down below what you think all of this is about. I have my own thoughts that need to be formed more fully, and I'd be interested to see what you all have to say because the discussion around this is already interesting. Toby Fox doing this the day before chapter 5 releases is a ridiculously genius move because it gets everybody in this excitedly panicked and hyped state. It really gets them ready for whatever crazy events will happen in this chapter. It really reminds me of the Among Us show. By the way, I was part of this collab with a bunch of other UCDR YouTubers started by Shabunka. It's on our channel right now, I recommend you watch it.